Hello, my name is Lisa Sinker and I'm one of the co-founders of Driving with Andy Sinker, which is a driving school based in Leeds in West Yorkshire. And this presentation will look at vulnerable road users. You're probably asking then, what is a vulnerable road user? It's actually anyone with less protection who may use the road. Section H of the Highway Code gives us clear guidance that the more at risk someone is, the more we need to be aware of their safety. Pedestrians are at the highest risk of injury as they have the least protection, followed by cyclists and then motorcyclists. Approximately 60% of road fatalities are actually from vulnerable road users. First of all by looking at children, and the Highway Code Rule 4 states young children should not be out alone on the pavement or road. When taking children out, keep between them and the traffic and hold their hands firmly. Strap very young children into pushchairs or use reins. When pushing a young child in a buggy, do not push the buggy into the road. And when checking to see if it is clear to cross, particularly from between parked vehicles. Rule number 7 of the Highway Code states the Green Cross Code. The advice given below on crossing the road is for all pedestrians. Children should be taught the code and should not be allowed out alone until they can understand and use it properly. The age when they can do this is different for each child. Many children cannot judge how fast vehicles are going or how far away they are. Children learn by example, so parents and carers should always use the code in full when out with their children. Parents are responsible for deciding at what age children can use it safely by themselves. When driving, we must be aware that children will not have the road experience of more mature road users, and as such we need to be more observant of what they may do. For example, if a ball bounces across the road, a child may run after the ball not thinking of the possible consequences. Children can also be harder for drivers to see, especially when reversing. Be aware of blind areas, for example, between parked cars, as children may try to cross the road in dangerous areas where it is difficult to see them. Do not park or wait in the yellow zigzag lines outside schools. There may be times stated on a sign that gives times that you must not park or wait there. When driving past schools, take extra care and reduce your speed if you see children going into or coming out of school. If you see this sign on a bus, be aware that this is a school bus and children may get off and walk over the road. Always be aware that children could be unpredictable. So let's look at pedestrians. So pedestrians can also be unpredictable. They may need to walk on the road if there is no pavement available on country roads, for example. And pedestrians always have priority if they are on the road. If they are waiting to cross the road across a junction, we should give way to them if it is safe to do so. If you see a pedestrian wearing reflective clothing and carrying a bright red light, be aware that this could be an organised walk. Disabled and elderly people. Disabilities are not always visible. Disabled and elderly people may take longer to cross the road, so be patient, even if a traffic light at a pedestrian crossing has changed back to green. If passing a mobility scooter, ensure you leave at least 2 metres. There are different types of mobility scooters. So there's ones that can go up to 4 miles per hour, which can only go on the pavement. Mobility scooters capable of 8 miles per hour are allowed on the road. If using on the pavement, a 4 miles per hour limit should be enforced. If the mobility scooter is going to be used on a dual carriageway, a flashing amber light must be displayed. Be aware that if you see a pedestrian with a dog that has a yellow or burgundy coat on, be aware that this means the pedestrian is deaf. If you see a pedestrian with a white stick with red stripes around it, this means that the pedestrian is blind and deaf. Be aware that if you see an older pedestrian waiting to cross the road, they may struggle to judge your speed. Let's look at cyclists. Cyclists can be difficult to see. If you're passing a cyclist, you must give them at least 1.5 metres width on a 30 miles per hour road, although I would actually recommend at least 2 metres width. Ensure you give cyclists more room in bad weather conditions as they could be blown into the road. Be aware that under the latest Highway Code rules, cyclists are permitted to go further into the road when approaching junctions to prevent people cutting them off. If they are in the left-hand lane at a roundabout, they could come off at any exit, so stay behind the cyclist and avoid overtaking. Do not pass cyclists if you are approaching a junction and you want to turn left. Do not overtake the cyclist on approach. Motorcyclists. So like cyclists, motorcyclists can be difficult to see. So leave plenty of room if passing, as they may swerve to avoid potholes or other hazards. If driving in heavy traffic, be aware that motorcyclists may filter through traffic between vehicles. Poor weather conditions could cause issues to motorcyclists, so for example wind, ice and rain. Horse riders. You must leave a minimum of 2 metres width when passing a horse and its rider. Do not pass at over 10 miles per hour. Do not rev your engine, and when you have passed them, gently accelerate away. Remember, horses are animals and can be unpredictable if startled. Be aware that, like cyclists, they may be in the left-hand lane at roundabouts to turn right. Vulnerable road users may give us clues as to their intentions, so they may start to look over their shoulder, checking to see if the road is clear. They may start moving to the right or left, looking to get into a better position. They may need to give hand signals. Any questions regarding anything you've heard or seen on the presentation today, please feel free to contact us on 07305 440539. It's best to send us a text and we will get back to you as soon as possible, or alternatively email andy@andysinkerdriving.co.uk. Thank you for listening. Please comment, like and share these presentations for us to continue to develop further ones. Many thanks. Goodbye.